Cooking with Steve.
Hello. Hi there.
Hello.
And welcome to Cooking with Steve. I'll give you a quick overview of what we're going to be making today. We're going to be making a nice cow meat stew today for dinner. As you can see here, I've got 3.12 pounds of cow meat specifically made for stew. I have a large onion, 3 sweet potatoes because we're doing this healthy today, some carrots, celery, 3 cans of reduced sodium fat-free beef broth, cornstarch, only going to use a little bit of that and not till the very end, salt, paprika, black pepper, ground cloves, leaf oregano, and 2 cloves of garlic. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to prepare everything to go into the pot. That entails simply skinning the carrots and the potatoes and then chopping up everything so it's a nice sized chunks, but not too big, not too small. I'll show you when I get finished with it. We'll come right back on the cow meat stew special here of Cooking with Steve. See you then. Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Steve. As you can see, we have made a little progress as far as skinning our veggies go and chopping them up. We are now chopping up the last of them. Just some onions here. And we also have our big stewing pot on the stove with a little bit of oil in it to get it ready for the meat that we're going to brown here in just a second. All these veggies go in at the same time, so we're just combining them in one big bowl. Give you an idea of the size we're looking to go for here. Come in close here, Bubba. So the carrots about I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. Celery about 1 inch, just that size of a chunk of the sweet potato and that size of the chunk on the onion. What we're going to do now is, Alex is over there cutting stuff up too. We're going to do now is we're going to take our cow meat and we're going to put that into the pot here and just let it brown. We don't want this to overcook at all because it's a stew. So we definitely, we definitely don't want this to cook all the way in here. So we're going to brown that off a little bit. Come back in just a minute here, and I'm going to add the beef broth and the Worcestershire child. We are cooking this in oil, by the way, and I just used regular veggie oil, maybe 4 tablespoons of it, and alright, we're going to take a quick break while that browns and we'll come right back.
Hello. Welcome back to Cooking with Steve.
Yes, thank you, Alex. Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Steve. Our meat here is browned off. You can definitely still see some pink in there, which is perfect because we do not want this to cook all the way. We want it to cook while it's stewing. So what we're going to do right now, we are going to grab our 2 cloves of minced garlic and put those in there. And because I saw this nice bottle of red wine laying around, we're going to hit a little bit of that up in there. Now you don't have to do that. That's purely because I like wine. So we're going to put that in there. A little history about this dish. We live here in America. In America, cows roam free. They were brought over here by the British when Columbus discovered the world, or the Western world that is, and he brought cows over here so we could eat them, and they let the Indians that were here when they got here, they kind of let them experiment a little bit with these cows, but they didn't know how to do it right, so the Americans had to teach them how to cook real cows. Excuse me, Alex. So we got our garlic in there. We're going to take our beef broth. We got 2 cans. This is going to be simmering on here. Once everything's added and we have our seasoning, it's going to simmer for right about an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour. We need some of this to cook off, basically. So we're doing 3 cans, so it's gonna have some good flavors in there. Once we get this added in here, we're gonna add all of our vegetables, stir it around and season. So I'm gonna get all these vegetables in here and stir it around. We'll come right back when I'm ready to season. See you then. Hello and welcome back. As you can see, we have all our veggies and our meat and our garlic in the pot. We are going to begin to season. We have a bottle of Worcestershire sauce here. We are going to do about 1/3 of that bottle as our very first seasoning. Well, we did about half, but that'll work too. We're going to come over with some kosher salt.
Dad?
There we go. Yes, Alex?
How do we even say that sauce that you said in the first time?
Well, hang on. We'll practice later, buddy. So ground cloves, a little bit of those. Not too much, this can be overpowering. Now we've got black pepper. Keep in mind this big pot of stew, so we want to make sure we're pretty liberal with these seasonings, so they all get seasoned. All the flavors and stuff come together as one. A little paprika there, and finally some oregano. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to mix this around. We are going to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we are going to turn it down to maybe 1/3 of the power on the stove, and we're going to let it simmer for, well, realistically, it's probably going to be about an hour and a half. Now, it doesn't need to take that long, but I have to drop my lovely wife, Stephanie, off somewhere tonight, and I'm not going to get back until, maybe an hour and a half from now, so that's why we're going to do that. Anyway, maybe I'll have an interesting story to tell when I get back. So here we go. Again, what we're going to do, bring this to a boil, put it down to 1/3 of the power, and we're just going to let it sit there for approximately an hour at least, and then, this in this case, probably going to be an hour and a half. See ya then. Confused by. Hello, welcome back. Just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of what's going on here. So as you can see, our beef stew has come to a boil. So we are going to turn this heat down to about 1/3. 1/3, that is. So like out of 10, 3. I'm still getting used to the new stove. So we're just going to let this sit here again for at least an hour. In this case, it's going to be about an hour and a half. You may notice I have an ice pack over my elbow. I mentioned in past videos that I'm trying to lose some winter weight. That is happening. And you might also notice that I look a little bit swole. But getting swole takes a bit of a toll on tendons. And when you're lifting massive weights like me, you get a little tendonitis. So anyway, I'm icing it down for the time being. We'll be back with you in approximately an hour and a half when we take this off this. Actually, what we're going to do in an hour and a half, you're going to notice that the liquid in there stays thin. Hour and a half, we're going to take a little bit of the liquid out, put some cornstarch in it, put it back in, stir it around so it thickens up for about 10 more minutes. Then we will have, yes, you guessed it. You said it before I even did. Tasting time. We'll see you in about an hour and a half. Well, hello, and welcome back to Cooking with Steve. As you can see, it's about an hour and a half later. Our beef stew has been simmering the entire time. We are going to take a spoonful of this cornstarch, like this, put it in our drink shaker, and then, real quick, gonna go grab our pot off of the stove, dump in some of the juice here, like that, put it back on the stove, mix this around here, get any chunks that may be in the cornstarch out. Ow, that's a little painful there when it splashes on you, it's pretty hot. Then we're gonna dump it back in. Hang on, a few chunks left. Then we're gonna dump it back in. We're gonna let this sit here for about 5 more minutes. If it takes that, it's gonna thicken up a little bit. Then it's gonna be tasting time. We will see you then.
Okay.
And welcome back. You have joined us for tasting time. We're gonna start with Mackenzie, who doesn't get a whole lot of face time on the show because she is typically our camera woman. Take a little bite there. How do you think it tastes?
It's really good.
Good to hear.
Ava.
What do you think?
Absolutely divine.
And Alex, why don't you go ahead?
I'll cool my thing off first. And then take bite. One bite. So good.
Good to hear. It's a little bit hot, but it is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I thank you for watching today and joining us for another episode of Cooking with Steve. Please subscribe to this channel, share this with all of your friends, and leave many comments below. If you ask a question, I promise to respond. Thank you again for watching, and you have
Cooking
an
with
excellent night.
Steve.